Okay, hello, welcome to Game Center Live. I am your host, Robert Yang, and today we have a really great show for you today. Today we have a special guest, Jeff Petriello. We also have, we're going to be playing some Spider-Man PS4 and complaining about its depiction of New York City, or complimenting it sometimes, but mostly complaining probably. And that'll be with past guest you may be familiar with, George Machado. We'll also be featuring later in this show, Naomi and Frank, giving their take on the current discourse sweeping gaming culture at the moment. And then we'll end with our Meet a Student segment, like we always do, and we'll be meeting a student, Kevin Ray. So stay tuned, it should be a really fun show. First, let's do some morning announcements. Or it's not morning, it's like noon, right? Sorry. Registration for spring 2020 classes, if you're an NYU Game Center student, you need to talk to your advisor because registration will start on November 11th. And if you do not meet with your faculty advisor, you will be locked out of registration and you will not get the classes you want. So please just talk to your advisor. And if you already spoke to your advisor, that's great. Just chill and it'll be okay. Next. Playtest Thursday is still running tonight, 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. at 370 J Street, 6th floor. This is open to students and the public. Come over and hang out and eat pizza and playtest some games. Next, Killer Queen 5v5. Julia, can we make the slideshow bigger bigger? Killer Queen 5v5 Fridays have returned. Learn how to play Killer Queen in a friendly environment. See, look at all these people right here. They're so friendly looking, right? Learn how to play Killer Queen in a friendly, casual environment. Hang out with some of the best Killer Queen players in the world. They're literally some of the best ones in the world. Every Friday at 7 p.m. in the 6th floor lounge. For more information, talk to Charles Pratt or join the Killer Queen NYC Facebook group. Oh geez, are the captions cut off again? Ah, geez. Okay, next. If you want to exhibit your game at GDC, the New York State government runs this thing called Empire State Development, where they will let you use their GDC booth for cheap. Just email nydigitalgamedev@esd.ny.gov for more info by today, November 7th. And maybe you can get a really good deal with them to exhibit at GDC. The IGDA is also opening applications for its GDC Scholar Student Scholarship Program thing, where if you're a student, you can apply to this thing and maybe get a free GDC pass and travel stipend and do some really cool networking events at GDC too. So if you're a student, please visit the igdafoundation.org. And applications are due by November 29th for that. So get in on that and go to GDC for free or nearly free at least. It's also just general GDC scholarship season going on right now. So Game Devs of Color Expo is also doing their own GDC scholarship thing where they want to provide creatives of color with a free GDC pass, as well as hopefully some travel assistance, as well as maybe some fun events and networking meetup things. So applications for the Game Devs of Color Expo's GDC scholarship are due December 2nd. Email gdocexpo@gmail.com for more info on applying to that. And that's it for the morning announcements. As usual, please follow us on Facebook, even though Facebook's kind of terrible, but use it anyway. Or follow us on Twitter, even though Twitter's terrible, or YouTube, even though YouTube's awful. Or go to our website, which is not owned by a giant corporation yet, so it's okay still. Although NYU is, let's just move on. Okay, so moving on, we have a special guest today. We have special guest, Jeff Petriello. Do you want to come on now?
Yeah, sure, Robert. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh my God, Jeff. So it's a real big honor to have you here as well.
Oh my God.
tell us a little bit like about yourself. Like, what do you do and stuff?
Yeah, so I am an adjunct faculty member here at the Game Center. I teach a class called Introduction to Game Design, which is a class you have to take if you're a undergraduate Game Center student, most likely your first semester. We teach like the fundamentals of game design, so it's really fun. It's all analog actually. So I am a former master student at the Game Center. I got my MFA here, and I design mostly analog games during my time. So it's really nice to be able to like help spread the knowledge for sure. But yeah, outside of that, I'm like an independent developer, and I have a decade-long career in media production and film production as well. So yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you can help us diagnose our camera and
Yeah,
stuff,
absolutely.
right? Oh my
I
God.
actually used to run like 25 Facebook live streams a week.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So yes, I'm quite familiar.
Okay, let us know if you have any tips or, like subtly steer our stream in the right direction.
Yeah, okay, yeah, sure, yeah. Wait, I also wanted to add one announcement.
Please.
So you mentioned GDC scholarship season, and I wanted to mention that the diversity initiative for Train Jam is also open. So Train Jam, if you don't know, is a literal train that goes from Chicago to San Francisco to get you to GDC, and it's filled with game developers, and it's a game jam. And it's a really great way to network, and also a ton of fun, and you make a game. And right now you can apply if you qualify for their diversity requirements online for a free ticket, maybe some travel assistance. So I wanted to mention that as well because Train Jam's awesome.
Wait, did you go on Train Jam?
I did go on Train Jam.
Oh my God. Do you want to explain a little bit what Train Jam is for folks not familiar with it?
Yeah, so Train Jam, you go to Chicago and then you get on a train. It's called the California Zephyr, and it takes you from California all the way to San Francisco, which should take 2 nights.
You mean from Chicago to San Francisco?
Oh yeah, that's what I meant.
Yes.
Chicago to San Francisco, and it should take about 2 nights, but when I was on it, there was like that giant flood in the Midwest, and we wound up like stuck for an entire other day.
Oh my
God. So it actually
God.
took 3 days.
So you
to
got
get
a
there.
bonus day on the train.
You got a bonus smelly day. There's like no showers unless you have a room. But like
It's game developers.
It's game developers. I must say, honestly, I was quite nervous to go, but I don't like to like. I need a bed, I need a shower. These are like things that I need to be like a happy human being. But honestly, the community was so awesome, and I had such a good time that I'm like ready to go back 100% despite those concerns. So if any of that is freaking you out, from someone who had the same concerns, just apply anyway, go anyway. It's so much fun. Yeah.
You can just like Febreze yourself
Yeah,
or something.
just Febreze. Yeah, just
throughout the
Febreze.
day.
You can bring some body wipes. You know what I mean? Yeah, the whole thing. It's great. Have you ever done the Train Jam, Robert?
No, I don't think. I mean, I don't like trains that much, I think. I mean, trains are fun. Trains are okay. Everyone's like aghast at me for like not wanting to go on a train.
Yeah, I feel you. I felt the same way.
I would like a half-day train journey,
Yeah.
but I think 3 days on a train would be like straining my train tolerance. But if you are not like me, if you are a beautiful human being who does like trains and would want to stay on the train for 2 or 3 days and go through very picturesque, you go through the Rocky Mountains.
Oh, you go
and
through,
stuff,
yeah,
right?
like gorgeous stuff. Yeah, it's amazing.
If you want to make a game collaboratively with a bunch of new friends that you've just met through beautiful scenery, right? Go do the Train Jam,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah, I recommend it.
Okay, so you have a lot of experience making games. So we're going to look at one of your games right now, right?
Yeah, so this game, I picked a game that wasn't audio heavy. Although I do mostly make analog games, I did make a few digital games in my time. This game was created using a tool called Bitsy, which I highly recommend for people, especially if you're not like a heavy coder, if you really like pixel art. This is a great tool that you can use directly on itch to create awesome games. Like people have done crazy, it's not even one particular style of game, you can really do a lot of things with it. So this one I also brought on because the theme is gay, and you've made the greatest gay games, so I thought it would be appropriate.
I'm into it.
Show.
Okay, this is called Needle in a Gay
Needle
Stack.
in a Gay Stack.
Walk us through the title a little bit.
So you'll see. It takes briefly. The concept is it's a night out at a rave, a gay rave, in an
As you
unnamed-
do,
yeah.
as you do in New York.
It's an unnamed city, but it's from my personal experience. I forget what I called the rave in the game, but it's a thinly veiled moniker for Horse Meat Disco, which is a
Oh.
huge party that happens every holiday in the city, and it's not my favorite. So in Bitsy, you can walk around, and if you run into other characters, you can talk to them. And like if you repeatedly run into them, maybe they'll say different stuff. So
Oh yeah, this person's telling me it's a bouncer, I guess, telling me to go to the back of the line.
Yeah.
Oh,
that person's almost there.
that person's
Yeah, really excited.
hoping.
That person's not as happy.
Wait, how common is the? Do you get to skip the line often in your personal life?
I refuse to wait on a line. Yeah. So if I can't skip the line, I'm probably not going.
How do you get to? Okay, for all of us people who are just normie, terrible, ugly people, and then you're like a beautiful VIP who gets to skip the line all the time. How do you get to skip the line at a club
You
or
just
a
have to
rave?
know like the hosts or whatever.
How do you know the host?
I don't know gay stuff.
Okay, literally, this has only happened once to me. I've gotten to skip the line
there you go.
at like a very exclusive, fancy
Robert,
gay party.
You can come with me.
It was
We'll-
kind of
we'll
amazing.
We'll skip the line.
But then the party wasn't even that good. We just left
No,
after
I know
30
it's never
minutes.
that
So you skip the line and then you're like, this
Exactly, which is like,
let's leave.
Why?
This is
That's why
terrible.
you would never wait on the line.
True enough. Okay, so guest list only, but we are on the guest
Yeah,
list.
we are on the
Oh,
guest
wait,
list.
there's a cat.
There is a cat.
The cat has very little things to say about their cathood.
Weirdly, yeah. I mean, he can speak, but only one phrase. So you know.
A very direct to the point cat, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's walk around. Okay, so now we're in the club, right? Are you on the list?
Wait, go talk to him again.
I'm not seeing you. Uh-oh. Give me your wrist?
That's those are the magic words.
Smoke upstairs if you need to. Oh, okay.
So that's a classic doorman. They give you sass until they see your name, and then they just ask for your wrist. And you get a stamp.
They always pretend you're not on the list.
Yeah, I mean, because you're probably not. Yeah.
Wait, but then they look at you and they decide, okay, no, you're allowed in. So
No,
you don't
I think-
even know them. You're not even on the list.
Yeah, maybe you're not on the list. Maybe you're just cute. I don't know how it works. I usually get someone to put me on the list, and then I feel like awkward while I'm there. And then if I have a problem, I leave immediately.
This is not fair to see how the other side gets to skip the line all the time, but it's okay. This is an empathy simulator.
Yeah, it's an empathy simulator.
I'm learning how.
Absolutely.
I'm learning what it is to be beautiful.
This is coat check, which is one of the, especially in the winter, is literally one of the most atrocious rooms in the world. It's horrible.
Oh yeah, it's about winter season. It's about winter club
Yeah,
season.
this is
now.
winter club
Oh god.
season. Yeah, we're getting ready. This place needs to get it together.
So it's everyone complaining about how long the line is.
Yeah. Hey, watch it.
Wait, but how do I get my coat check?
I think you're just gonna need to carry it, bro.
Oh my god.
Ugh, I don't think so, honey.
Have you ever
That's
had
a
a good
Culturistas
coat check
shout out.
experience?
No.
They're just uniformly
You can't
always
skip the line
terrible.
at Kochek. That's the hard part. I mean, the best you can do is know the DJ and then put your coat behind the DJ booth.
Oh my god, look at these tips we're learning. Oh my god, learning so much. Wait, so DJ booth is like stealth coat check.
DJ booth is 100%
Stealth VIP coat check. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
yeah, absolutely.
Which way should I go? Should I go, up or
Yeah, go
to the-
straight. I don't
Okay.
think I built out
By
the right.
straight you mean up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Up.
Oh my god.
Okay, so this is actually a cool little development moment here.
Oh,
so in
whoa.
order to depict the rave, what I had to do is create doors, invisible doors in every single space. And it's basically an invisible checkerboard. And when you walk between the checkerboard, it actually switches you to an identical copy of the room with a completely different color scheme. So as you walk, you get the strobe effect, but that was like something I had to hack in with Bitsy. So, and then now you've also switched perspectives. So you're also like bird's eye view instead of that weird like,
To me, it's like, it looks like cellular Automata,
It does,
like
yeah, that was my
Conway's Game of
inspiration.
Life. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's
Really?
what it feels like when you're there.
You got any G? Do we got any G?
No, we only bum.
Oh.
So.
Oh, you're one of those. Okay, I see how it is.
So yeah, any of the what color are they? They're white, or when they're the white characters you can speak to. Unfortunately.
George has a hot take for that. Stares blankly
You know
into
what?
the distance.
You play
while
tests
flexing.
and you learn, right? That's important.
You do play tests and you
It's
learn.
still a prototype.
But it seems like, oh yeah, we're chatting, but it seems like, yeah, no one is really paying attention to us. Everyone's just really into their own thing.
Yeah,
right?
people are on a mission. Hey, dude. Yes.
Where's Zane?
Oh no.
No one ever knows where Zane is.
No. Such a shame too. This is our fucking song.
Oh, want some poppers?
That guy
Oh,
just
that's
offers you
nice.
poppers for the rest of the night. Yeah.
How nice. Very kind. Oh, okay, here's the bar, obviously, right? Because there's
Yeah, exactly.
the line and the counter here.
And if you are familiar with New York's club scene, this is an actual floor plan of a real club in New York.
Wait, I only do Brooklyn dive bars.
Yeah,
What's
this is in Brooklyn, it's in
which one is
Bushwick.
this one?
It's elsewhere. So this is when you walk into
Oh,
elsewhere.
this is
Yeah.
the layout elsewhere. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I haven't been to elsewhere for like a show yet.
It's
I've been
actually
to Rooftop.
pretty good for a
Rooftop
show. The
scenes.
rooftop is amazing. That is not included in this particular simulation.
It's okay.
It's winter, remember?
It is winter, right? We would not be on the rooftop. That would be
No.
awful.
So, I mean, you can like go talk to the DJ.
Okay. Oh, stash our coat with the DJ. Okay.
Yeah. Where are you? Aw, thanks for coming, babe.
Oh wait, we know the DJ.
Of course.
There's
This
so
shit
much
is
storytelling
crazy,
going on.
isn't it? I saw Zane right before I got on. Not sure where he's at now, but I think I saw him with Wesley.
Oh wait, we know Zane.
Yeah, we're looking for Zane.
Okay. I thought the popper people were just telling us.
No, there's a
that there is
story
Zane.
here.
Is that
Fuck,
Zane?
you made it. I saw you might come on Facebook, but I didn't believe it. You look really good, man. ... Like really good.
Oh. Is this flirting?
Yeah,
is
this
this
is
what people call flirting?
flirting.
I mean, this is maybe beyond flirting.
Yeah,
oh, we
no,
should fuck.
he gets really, it gets pretty explicit.
I think he might be flirting with us.
He may be flirting,
I think maybe just a little.
but it's like, and then you make out.
Oh.
Yeah. Say hey to Zane for me. Ouch. Doesn't it hurt a little?
Wait, so we made out, but then our heart is still promised to
our
Zane?
heart is still promised to Zane.
Okay, so we have to find Zane
It's public
now.
knowledge.
Should I go up these stairs?
Yeah,
I
you
do
can
that?
go up the stairs.
Oh my god, who's that? Who's this happy face?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm scared. I don't want to approach. I'm scared. I'm timid. Okay. You find Zane upstairs, but he can't see you. He's kissing someone else.
The light is too dim to tell who. Go home.
What?
That's it.
Oh my god.
I know, it's sad.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a gut punch.
I know, it
right
really
there.
is.
It like builds up all that anticipation, and now we're just out in the
Now,
cold.
yeah, you're back. It's an endless loop.
It doesn't matter. No matter what we do,
You
Zane
can
will always
always-
be making out with someone else.
Exactly.
Oh my god. Wait, okay, so walk me through some of these elements. So why did you make the coat check like this? What happens if we go to the right?
Well, the right is like another room in. So I actually tried to make this like the elsewhere layout. So there is another room that you could go to. So if I were to continue on the game, there would be another like sub room where there's like a different DJ.
Right.
It's maybe like a different scene. It'd be a different color scheme. But really, what I wanted to do, it's called Unicorn Flesh Rave.
Oh.
Yeah. I wanted it to slowly like capture the experience of like being in this like overwhelming crowd and like having sort of these like ships that you recognize in the night but like are on their own journey.
That's so
like,
poetic.
Yeah, like that's what it feels like. And then you're on your own journey.
You're the
but
captain of your own ship.
Ultimately, this place is so insane and drug-addled and like noisy that like you're setting yourself up for nothing but basically disappointment no matter what.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really intense.
So, yeah, that's Needle in a Gay Stack.
But you know, this is like a very classic theme, I think, in a lot of gay culture and literature, right?
Which theme? Yeah.
Of really exciting party and culture and community, but then in the end, like we're all lonely in the end, right?
Well,
like,
yeah, I mean, I think
Dancer in the Dance, Dance from the Dance,
Dancer from the Dance,
or like Queer as Folk.
This
you know,
is very
like,
Babylon.
Yeah, it's very Queer as Folk.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's like a lot to relate to. And then these themes keep coming up in gay culture because we keep reliving them, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the nice thing is like, the major difference between like someone like me creating something like that and someone who created, for example, Dancer from the Dance or even Queer as Folk is like, this is now existing at a time where like the shadow of the AIDS crisis is not looming over every single thing that you're doing. So like, there's even, I mean, like most people that are going to this type of party in New York, you know, are also of a particular socioeconomic class, which means they probably have access to PrEP, which means they're probably having a ton of unprotected sex with whoever they want and not worrying about having to die, maybe. So I think like that setting is also like the disappointment that we're experiencing is like one tiny little minuscule fraction of like what the root of this theme actually comes from.
Right.
So I think interrogating that and like at least talking about it and like creating around that is one of the most interesting things for me, because like the pain is still real, but it also needs to be informed.
It's a different pain.
Yeah.
Contextualized pain. Oh wait, oh my god, wait, he's not even here anymore.
Yeah, he's gone.
Wait, can we take the cat home?
I wish you can take, you just, honestly, the best hack for this game is just stay outside with the cat. That's it.
That sounds like a good note to end on.
Yeah.
We'll just end with the cat. We'll just hang out with the cat in the alley.
Yeah.
It's a very New York and good
Of course.
night to a New York night.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for playing.
Oh yeah, thanks for showing this to us and thanks for introing this to the whole audience here.
Yeah, and you too can make a really cool, weird, gay, bitsy game if you take Ben Fadi's prototype class as a student here at the NYU Game Center.
Yes, please take Prototype Studio. Please make gay bitsy games.
Yeah.
Or they don't even have to be gay games, or they don't even have to be bitsy games.
They
right?
have to be gay.
Okay, they have to be gay bitsy
absolutely.
games. I'm sorry, there's no choice. Okay, let's switch to the other view, and let's transition to our next segment. So we just got to know Jeff a little bit better and where Jeff's coming from. And where Jeff comes from is New York.
Yeah,
So
well.
what we like doing here occasionally on this show is a segment called I'm Walking Here, where we play games set in New York City and then complain about how they depict New York
Sweet.
City
I'm so excited.
in a really unfair, prissy kind of way. But it's fun. It's fun. I guarantee it. And today we will be playing some Spider-Man PS4. Let me hook up the PS4. Hopefully everything is still working too. So we're going to be playing some Spider-Man PS4, and today we're going to have, instead of me hosting it, we're going to have two guest hosts. We're going to have Jeff, and we're going to have another guest, George Machado.
Yes, George. I'm so excited. Thank you, Robert.
Thanks, Robert. Oh, yeah.
Hi, George.
Hi.
How's it
What's up,
going?
Jeff? I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Yeah, I'm doing great.
I want to boot up Spider-Man.
Yeah, let's boot up Spider-Man.
I'm almost there. Flux away.
First of all, the bug.
Guess
the
I'll just do it
first thing that
No, don't. It's not safe.
This game just has like amazing.
I love Doc's enthusiasm,
graphics.
but sometimes it gets him into trouble.
I
Better get there
suggested
before he
this
hurts
game
himself.
because to me it's the most recent realistic depiction of New York. In video games.
Absolutely. And it's like,
out of all of the depictions of New York so far, it is the best.
I agree.
Not gonna say it isn't, but being the best, the things it gets wrong really piss me off.
Yeah, it's the standards are even higher.
Exactly.
So this, I think we're just past the tutorial. So here we are, okay, so where are we? I guess that's a great first question. Let's go to the map. See if I remember. Okay.
Oh, we
so
don't have any of the map unlocked, but this.
but we know where we are. This is
like
Hell's Kitchen.
Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
This is actually where I live right now.
Oh, no way. Should we go to where you live?
Yeah.
Okay,
head up to
Pardon me.
59.
Okay.
And this is the thing, where.
How do I web swing?
There we go. Because if you head uptown right now, in what is Columbus Circle, and you're gonna head to the
right
upper
a
right,
little?
yeah. This is where Fisk Tower is in the game. So Trump Tower is actually replaced by Fisk Tower.
The irony.
Yeah, very
Subtle.
very subtle there.
I can't. I'm having a little trouble seeing the game on this. Yeah.
Here we go.
Where is it?
It's up. I think if you're going that way, yeah, you're just going up toward those cranes, and then keep going. Yeah. So here they did an okay job with Columbus Circle.
Oh yeah, like there's that weird.
Yeah, but then everything behind Columbus Circle, like 9th, 10th, and 11th Avenues, are just like smushed.
Yeah, there's a lot of
together.
compression. Wait. Okay, so are we here?
I think no. Yeah. Go down. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, this is it. Right
Okay.
here.
Yeah, there's Fisk Tower.
There's Fisk Tower. This is Columbus Circle.
This is Central Park.
This right here, like they just compress like 7 or 8 blocks between like 59th and like 5th.
Okay.
And then 9th and 10th Avenue, if you keep going west, are
like
also
2 avenues.
Exactly. It's supposed to 9th, 10th, 11th, and you have like 9th, this is Lincoln Center, right? Lincoln Center is great. They did a great job with Lincoln Center.
Where's Lincoln Center?
Right here. This is it.
Ah, look at it. So beautiful. Let's go to the opera.
Exactly. Like that's actually the fountain looks exactly like that,
Yes,
which
this is very good.
This is very good. They even got this courtyard here where the library is pretty good
Yeah.
up to the right, like, and they did the landmarks super well.
They don't have the new. They don't have the newest,
Yeah, they don't have the newest iteration of.
but it's pretty close. It's pretty damn.
no, but this is it. This is the same compression, right? Because this, if you look to the
Yeah,
right,
look
that
at this.
building,
This shouldn't be here.
This is across the street.
Yes.
That's Juilliard, right?
Yes, exactly.
And then here, instead, in the actual Lincoln Center, you have
Like this would be where Juilliard should be, but it's really like
whatever
street.
Exactly. And here you have like in the real world this like really cool little like
Overpass thingy,
like
yeah.
slanted green
Spider crisis coming through.
astroturf situation. Actually, it's real grass. You can lay up there and it's super cool and it's like really important to like the architecture of Lincoln Center.
I actually think, I mean, it's kind of interesting to like think about how they had to redesign New York City in order to fit it into these small, like, to me, it's like, in a way, it's almost easier to just like copy it exactly because you don't have to make any design decisions in that regard.
Absolutely. And like I know they made serious choices with like the placement of like fire escapes and like scaffolding for like the free running like parts of the game swinging around.
Wait,
And
so wait, where do you live? You live
I
here?
live, so if you go to, I live on 59th, so if you head south, my apartment building should be right, turn to the right. Are we even facing south right now?
Yeah, we're facing south.
Yeah, my apartment building should be right here, instead it isn't.
It's not there.
It's not.
Okay. So how do you feel about this depiction of your neighborhood? Realistic?
No, not really at all.
What's missing?
What's missing is the avenue is way too narrow. Like
Yes,
9th Avenue is
definitely.
a much wider avenue.
Excuse me.
There should be more like stores, right? I think there's a lack of corner stores.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like and these are things that are like quintessentially New York that I don't know why they left out. And another thing that this game does, like all games depicted in New York, the compression happens the most uptown.
Yes.
Which really frustrates me because I'm originally from East Harlem. And like Harlem is maybe a third of the size it is in real life in this game. Which it's like I don't know why that's a decision.
Well, also, I mean, let's talk about the fact that this game only exists in Manhattan,
yes,
right?
that's
like,
another thing.
I mean, Spider-Man is from Queens.
Exactly. You can't even go to where you're from.
You can't even go to where you're from. So obviously, I mean, you're trading. This is the classic, like, abstraction, simulation, design issue that we face as game designers. Is like the increased level of detail in your simulation is like an inverse of the what do you call it? The width of the abstraction. So like you can't. The more you want to abstract in your simulation, the less detail that abstraction can have, right?
Exactly. But from GTA 5, and people I know who live in LA who have played GTA 5, they were blown away and afraid at points.
They were like someone's stalking.
Exactly. Like, this is exactly what my street looks like. This is what it feels like to move. Like, look at this.
This is Uptown.
This is Uptown.
We're supposed to be in Washington Heights, which isn't even here
It's
on
not.
the map.
It's not there. Washington Heights is not even there. This is like some weird, compressed, like Morningside Heights, Washington Heights, West and East Harlem have been compressed into these like ungodly, like weird. My projects are in this game, which I do appreciate. But
nice.
They're also like it's like 4 different public housing in Harlem, but they're just all compressed into one.
Well, I have a question for you as a native of the area. Do you think that detailed depiction in video games is a form of virtual gentrification? Or do you see it more as like an honor?
I see it more as an honor, right?
Okay.
It depends, right? Because it's like, it depends what they depict, right? If if they go for an accurate depiction of Harlem and Washington Heights, and what they depict is like motherfuckers with like top knots and like Swedish backpacks, then I got a problem. But if it's like what life actually looks like in Harlem, the things you see there, like if in this game on 125th Street, you had a bunch of people with like stands on the street selling cocoa butter and
That would
like
be
R. Kelly
amazing.
mixtapes, like that's what I would want.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
and I think that's perfectly okay. Why they don't? I don't know.
Well, I mean, there is a little bit to say about the fact that most of the story in this game particularly takes place downtown.
True.
Right? And I think it is important to note that this game also has you interact with, you're not only playing Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, and like them having, I guess it's okay for spoilers at this point.
Yeah.
So Miles Morales being in the game was huge for me. I think that was really great.
I thought that was awesome.
And the way they did it was incredible. I'm finally happy to say Spider-Man is black all the fucking time.
Yeah.
But even so, like there are so many side missions that happen uptown.
Yes,
And,
a
like-
lot of side missions, specifically.
Exactly. And what happens in those side missions, I have a problem with a lot of the time.
Okay.
A lot of those side missions are like X drug dealer is doing X to
Yes.
the
Yeah,
neighborhood,
yeah.
and you gotta stop them, and like
It's like classic,
it's like the Browns and the Blacks
Yeah.
are scary.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
doing the thing, and I'm like, oh, come on, guys.
I wanted to come up here, not to
No.
interrupt you, just because we're here. This was where I went to college. This is Columbia University for undergrad.
I know, I'm a jerk.
I've attended here, and they do actually have my precise dorm.
That's amazing.
And you can like, I can like climb up to my dorm window, which I think if we see. Oh, there's the quad. So this is very realistic.
No, this is
This is like
incredibly
exactly what my campus looks like.
and this is the thing that got me tight. Like
Exactly. Like, why is this here?
Why is Columbia perfect? Why NYU is NYU is perfect. Columbia is perfect.
Okay. My only justification for that is that these are prominent settings in the Spider-Man movies.
That's true.
Which makes me feel like maybe that's why they felt like you're gonna go up to Empire State University to like make sure it's there because you're like a canon head. I don't know.
Yeah,
But this is my dorm room.
that's incredible.
This is literally where I slept. No, that's the corner one. It was the second to the last. This was me. This is where I first like made out with a boy, right in this room.
Oh my God. See?
So it's a lot in front of that window, and then I used to climb up to this roof and like sneak and like
Gotta
listen
get
to
to work.
Animal Collective.
Can't
and
let
smoke
Doc down.
blunts.
This is amazing.
So this is very realistic.
Exactly. And I would love to have that experience
I
with
feel
a
like
different part of New York.
Yeah, I think that is like really important to talk about because like for me, I can have that experience here, which actually really contributes to not only like my immersion in the game, but like my feeling of belonging in this world and feeling like this is my playground to play in. And when you don't have that place depicted, it must feel different.
Yeah, exactly. Like, let's go. Let's see. Where's this map, real quick? Yeah. Like, so if you go, I forgot how to play this game. There we go. So we're headed uptown right now, and we just talked about how you felt being in Columbia. Now, and Columbia is incredibly detailed, a university that has bought a lot of Harlem and is contributed deeply to its gentrification. Then you come here. This is
the top of Central Park, right?
no.
Oh no, this is Morningside
This
Park?
is Morningside Park.
Wait, but go on the map. Is it?
No, this is the top of Central Park.
Yeah, so
Alright,
they don't even have Morningside Park.
Yeah, they don't even have Morningside Park in the game, so we're gonna head up to Harlem. And here, like, Harlem just fades into some, like, there's none of the things that make Harlem Harlem here. A lot of the buildings are just these really tall, kind of faceless, just generic midtown buildings, when Harlem has a lot of like really old pre-war architecture.
Really cool stuff.
Yeah, and there's like all these restaurants. Like this is supposed to be
The one.
no,
the two.
This is not the one or the two. This is because we're
Are we on the east side?
yeah, we're on the east side right now.
Okay, so this is the
supposed-
6?
No, this is not even the 6. This is the Metro,
Metro
North.
North.
This is the Metro North.
Okay, yeah.
And what they didn't get here is that, like, they didn't get 125th Street. Like, you have.
How can you not have 125th Street?
Like, this is the Metro. Like, here is supposed to be, like, 125th running down the Metro North, and there's just nothing here. Like, and that pissed me off a lot. Like, the church I went to growing up was right here.
Like it should be there.
Yeah, exactly. And like this 125th, like runs for a very, 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 very long time. And like this entire part of Manhattan is just so compressed. And none of the things that I grew up seeing are here, right?
It
Harlem looks-
reminds me of those Photoshop memes where they cut someone's forehead off,
Yeah.
and you're just, and it looks ridiculous, just like it looks ridiculous. Do they have Apollo?
I think they may have the Apollo. I don't remember.
Where do we find
It's
it?
hard to find without the.
Nah.
No, it's
totally
cool.
fine.
I should.
Like, what's this? Do you recognize that part?
This? No, this is just like a name. Like, I think this is supposed to be Morningside Park, which is great. Morningside Park is massive, and it's way bigger. Like, it's a huge, huge park with basketball courts and baseball fields, and it is like the site of a really important like civil rights movements in New York City. Like Malcolm X often held rallies there. Marcus Garvey did. Like all of these things that are like integral to New York history and the Harlem Renaissance are just like not really here. 125th should be down this way.
And how does this compare to, say, like GTA's depiction of Harlem?
It's much better. GTA 4 was absolutely trash in its depiction of New York. Like it made absolutely no sense whatsoever. Yeah, so like here, 125th should be around here. Yeah.
I don't even know if they have their pop. I don't
This
remember
is-
running into that.
Yeah, no,
in my
me
playthrough.
either. And like, that made me really sad. This over here, like they got these right. This is what public housing kind of looks like in New York City. We don't have sunroofs or like that kind of thing. But this was pretty cool. If you head this way to the east side, these are my projects over here.
Yeah, let's go.
Which was.
I also
sick.
have to say, it is amazing traversing through this
Oh, no.
city in this game. Just the
It's-
way the game feel is insane.
Fucking perfect. It's crazy. I got stoned and did this for
You
hours.
can basically do it forever. And I also like when you get the upgrade, you can do all the flips in between the swings. It's just like so fun.
Like right all through here, like this is all what public housing looks like in New York, and they got it down. Like
Yeah.
that was impressive. But the problem is, unlike your dorm at Columbia, like this is just a small collection of buildings. When these are like giant, sprawling.
Whole section of town.
Exactly.
And you do not get that sense.
Nah,
In here
like,
at all.
you get all of the shapes, which was I appreciate, right? This is like and actually I started a research project that I never finished about the architecture of these projects mimicking the architecture of prisons across the country. And you can tell that by the footprints of the buildings. If you like go on Google Maps and look at the footprints of different housing projects in New York City and in other cities in the country, and then look at the footprints of prisons, they're like identical in many ways. Why that is a lot of reasons. But yeah.
Do
But
you
it-
get that sense with these shapes?
Yes, exactly. There's like these straight. There's like these like straight, just vertical like Tetris pieces, and then there are these ones with these cross sections in between them, like two crosses attached at the middle. Like this is a thing. Like most of project like NYCHA buildings in New York are shaped.
Is your actual building here?
No,
No.
just in like maybe it actually I think it is like my actual building would be over here. And let's see. It's on very no. They did not put my actual building. Like this isn't cute.
Yeah, what is
This is like they put this in here. I think this is part of a side mission. This is like,
Like
yeah,
one
an
of those-
Oscorp
oh,
building.
Oscorp.
It's like a random Oscorp factory that doesn't actually exist. There is something like this on Randall's Island,
Yeah.
but you can't go there.
Maybe it's just the smushing of it all again.
Exactly.
If you are watching, by the way, and you're in the chat and you want us to go someplace or
Please let
look
us
for
know.
someplace, please feel free to drop a chat in and we'll go in.
Yeah, like the building I grew up in should be right here, and instead we have like,
Top of Inwood.
top of Inwood. Yeah, that's the thing. It's not there.
Yeah,
but
it
we'll go.
doesn't- We can try.
We'll go to the top of Inwood and you'll see what's here. Like this is nowhere near here in real life. Let's see.
I mean, J-Lo just didn't exist also in this game.
At all.
It's just really sad. Yeah.
But top of Inwood would be over here, and you'll see what they did was
This is the north.
this is the north
Yeah.
side of Manhattan. Like that's the Bronx, which is way closer than
Even the topology of this is completely wrong.
and like I don't understand how hard like
Did you just tell us to go to Times Square, Robert? Wow.
yeah.
Who said that?
Wow.
Monster. You literal. I don't even want to go in the game. Let alone,
No.
like, that's how much I don't want to go in real life.
I'm so close to Times Square my whole life, and I hate it. Like my apartment is not that far, but I only live there because it's Red City.
This would have been where my college football stadium was. It is not there.
Yeah, this is supposed to be Inwood. This is the Cloisters.
Wait, they had the cloisters?
Yeah, they have the Cloisters, but then like it's
Where?
like this is the place is supposed to be the Cloisters.
Okay.
This like
This does
weird-
not look anything like it.
Yeah.
I guess it in the sense of like it is a green space at the top of Manhattan. It functions, but I mean, even this is like supposed to be, the elevation of this is much higher in real life. There's like a huge
Exactly.
cliff at the end.
And like that's another thing about like the upper Manhattan, like this part of Manhattan is like
Gorgeous.
it's gorgeous and incredibly hilly. Like
Yeah.
none of these buildings are here. Like what you have at this part of Manhattan is like these really tall, gorgeous pre-war buildings with like really intricate facades, and like none of that is here. This is supposed to be the George Washington
Washington, yeah.
Bridge. Like this is all
This is all city that's supposed to be here.
yeah.
It's
like,
crazy.
This is from here to the top of Manhattan should be like 80 blocks, and you're here in like 2 seconds.
Robert wants us to go to Union Square.
Oh.
How fast can we get down there?
Pretty quick. If we had all everything.
If we were
locked.
taking the subway, it would probably be 45 minutes. But we don't have to. The West Side Highway. We're taking
Yeah,
the West Side Highway.
this is the West Side.
Yeah. I don't know what this is supposed to be. I don't
Like-
recognize that. This is supposed to be not morning, Riverside Park, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's the tomb.
And like Riverside Park, also the elevation.
The
here is
elevation here is totally
all
off.
wrong.
And
Like,
that's one of the best parts of it.
exactly. Like I work out.
They just got rid of 3 avenues here. 'Cause
Yep.
That was Columbia, and there's supposed to be like 3 other,
Exactly.
all this mushing.
Like they're over here too. Like
Is the new school main building in the game? Well, that's by Union Square. We can check it out.
yeah, we're headed down that way. We're almost there. Like this park, there's like 5 stories in like difference of elevation in this park.
Also, is it always fall in this game?
I think so.
Yes, that was a great decision. Check the map.
How close are we?
I feel like, wait, zoom out.
Yeah,
We're not there yet.
Nope, it's like over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Upper Manhattan is usually buildings with 6 floors no higher. That's totally wrong.
Yeah, we're at Lincoln Center again.
Okay, yeah. We still have like 40 blocks to go. But it's still amazing. I mean, I wish I could web sling my way around. the
Oh
city
my God.
So badly.
Coming here today,
It's like,
it took me 45 minutes.
it's horrible. Honestly, my #1 desired superpower is teleportation.
Yep.
But this is a close second.
I would
honestly.
Yeah, I would definitely
Just
take.
for the sheer joy of it, you know. Although I wonder what the environmental impact of leaving all of this webbing around really is. I feel like you must have thought about it.
I don't. They never mention, or maybe they do.
It does.
like,
It just disintegrates after a time.
Yeah.
But, like it doesn't go nowhere, right?
It's like what's left behind?
Come on, Spidey.
You're a biochem major, Spidey.
Yeah.
You should know better. Also, but like, how long does it take to disintegrate too? Like, Cannon Heads, if y'all want to chime in and let us know if you have that knowledge.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's the Empire State Building.
There's no Avengers Tower in this game, is
Yes,
there?
there is.
Oh yeah, there is.
That I enjoyed a lot.
Okay, so we're 20 blocks away. This is Flatiron.
Yep.
Cute. Used to work around there. There's what pool is that?
Some rich assholes pool.
Yeah. Okay, here's like this is
Flatiron
Broadway
building, yeah.
and Fifth Ave. There's a Flatiron.
Yeah, we're going down
Gorge.
Broadway right now. They did a great job with that.
That was 23rd Street, so
This is
now
Union Square.
we're at Union Square.
And they got this one.
This does not look anything like Union
Yeah.
Square.
It's really sad.
Where's the entire south part of it? Oh my
Yeah,
god.
they barely did it. Like,
Where's that famous work of art with the countdown?
Mhm.
Is
Oh,
Abraham Lincoln here?
nope, nothing is here. There's
Wait,
no,
go
Sorry about that.
west to see if the new school is there.
Nah, I don't think anything is here. 'Cause this would be it.
Shapes. The kelp says he wants shape shifting or some similar power, like some straight up mystique thing. I really love. I think that that's a great option as well. Good choice. George, what were your superpower?
But teleportation also, and
NYU, but not
we're
the
here.
part that we.
No, the part that we see, we can't even go to. Teleportation, but not just teleportation, the ability to make portals.
Oh, like a blink scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Like,
cool. Doctor Strange, like even like a Doctor Strange.
like a more of a
vibe.
Doctor Strange kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Just open portals to wherever I want to go and do
That's
that.
like my character in Gloomhaven right now. Really.
Oh, I really want to play Gloomhaven. Right now I'm just in a D&D campaign, and I'm a Wood Elf monk.
Ooh, yes, I love them.
And yeah, playing this new subclass called the Way of the Astral Self, which allows me to have
teleport.
ghost arms.
Oh wow. Ghost arms.
You can summon ghost arms that use your wisdom modifier as
Attack.
attacks instead. It's
that's
super cool. And they do radiant
How many
damage.
do you have?
You start with 2 ghost arms. But yeah, where do people want to head next?
Spider-Man devs have some great GDC talks where they mention how they proc gen and then hand tailor the result. Yes, actually, Spider-Man at GDC last year was all over the place. There were like 10 million panels about it. It was super interesting. Also, I have to say, I am a member of the Spider-Man PS4 subreddit. To this day, is super active, even though this game came out a little while ago, because the camera capture in this game is unbelievable. Like, you can just take super gorgeous, insane screenshots, and people really do it.
No, there was one of my favorites, more of a gift. We go all the way south. There was, there's
Highline?
No, that's the building that's supposed to be the Freedom Tower.
Yeah.
It's like this weird slanted joint in this one, and someone made a little video of them walking down that slant with Ghost Town DJ's My Boo
Oh my
playing.
god, amazing.
So it looks like the new Running Man. It's very, very good.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity for user-created content in this game, which is awesome.
Yes. Let's see if I remember how to use these. Well, there we go. Cool. No, how?
Is it it's not the share button, is it?
No. Well, you can there's a share button to just take a screenshot.
No, but there's like the in-game
Yeah,
one,
the
right?
in-game camera.
That's not it. You can't
No.
access it from here.
We'll save that screenshot though. Oh, I think it's one of these. It has to do.
Like a Z.
It's okay. Hey, all right. There's some technical difficulties right now. I can see where I'm going, but it's
here we
one
go.
of those. I forgot how to slow down. It's been a while. Oh, there it is.
Oh,
And then
yeah, okay. What was it?
It is. Oh, I can't remember at all. Sorry, y'all. I can't take any photos.
Also, one of the best things about this game is that how many Spidey suits there are.
Absolutely, and we have none of them unlocked. But let's
Yeah.
see what that looks like here. If I can even get to them.
Wow.
There's so many menus.
It's just so gorgeous.
It's really, they did an incredible job. How much even though I complain a lot about what Manhattan looks like, I did put 40 hours into this game.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I do agree with you. I think this is the best ever New York City realistic simulation
Absolutely, but the thing I like,
ever made.
Yeah, and the thing though, like the entire city just kind of feels like the Upper West Side.
Yes, that sort of it's not flavorless, it's just one note
Of New York.
of New
Yeah.
York, the sort of red brick meets modern, like generic mashup vibe. Like, you don't feel like you're going like through the Lower East Side. You don't feel like you're going through Chelsea specifically. It's sort of all of these like, unless it's a specifically designed environment for a mission.
Exactly.
Like Washington Square Park is a great example because there's that whole mission where you like become that little spider and you're like on the ground, like running around. Like they had to put in so much work into that, and it actually feels like Washington Square Park.
Yeah, Washington
But unless, I mean, and I don't want to downplay how much work is done in interiors in this game. A lot of the game is actually done, like the inside of Grand Central Station is like gorgeous in this game. And if you look at it compared to like can you go in at this
I don't
point?
know. We
Yeah,
can't
try.
go
See if you
inside.
can.
Yeah, it's a mission, but we can go to it. We can head this way. I'm headed. Yeah, I'm headed.
like I saw a really funny mashup on Reddit of the depiction of Grand Central in this game versus the original, I think it was PS2 Spider-Man, and it is like,
Yes.
so funny. Like just to see, I think that was 10 years ago, like how far well, it's probably more than 10 years ago.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Even from the outside, it's pretty fucking good.
It's
like,
crazy.
Can
Can you get in is the
No,
question.
I gotta highly doubt it. We can try.
Some door, right?
No. Yeah.
I mean, this is beautiful though. Like this looks like Grand Central.
You know, they do an incredible job.
No, I don't think we're gonna be able to get in.
But the thing is about maybe through the roof. That seems like a very Spidey situation. No. But yeah, and like not to knock all of the work they put into this, but I would have really have loved for it to feel like as you swung through Manhattan, it's almost the feeling you get when you're biking through Manhattan and you're going through all these different neighborhoods.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like
pass
times,
through.
yeah, 100, right? Cause yeah, Chinatown doesn't feel like Chinatown. Like I want to be able to like look at Chinatown in this game, and then smell in my head.
I was actually going to tell you, like, one of the biggest things that's missing from this simulation is smell.
Yes.
Smell is such a huge part of being in New York City for good and bad, and not having it, like, you take it for granted walking around with your nose. Like, you know, that is just something that video games cannot do.
I'm not so sure about that though. Like if there was a separation of, like, if you haven't, you would not get that if you've never been here. Like, that's not possible,
Yeah.
for sure. But if you have spent time in Manhattan, and they did put in the work to, like, separate neighborhoods, I think your body, your mind,
You would just have that
you would just, like,
sense recollection.
exactly, of, like, being in Chinatown, and I'm like, there's a lot of good food here, but also there's a lot of open air fish markets.
Yes.
And, like, you're getting all of those smells.
And
like,
forget it. I know this game is set in the fall, but if it was the summer, girl,
it would be painful.
there's trash everywhere, and it smells bad. So yeah, I think like that's, you know, unfortunately it's just not possible really to have people experience that.
I do really appreciate what they did here. The color of the cab. This is right.
Yeah.
This one is wrong.
Yeah. Is that supposed to be one of those green ones?
Yeah. I don't know, but like for the most part, the color of the cabs are right, and I deeply appreciate that because in most games set in New York, it's this ugly, bright ass yellow.
Yellow, and it's not. It's like it's more of a marigold.
Yeah, and like this is it right here. This is the beautiful yellow cab. This is what it looks like.
I just noticed that because what was I watching? I was watching Titans, which is set in Gotham, and they have like these old school cabs, and it was just like, why don't you just like put in a real cab for the love of God?
It's not that hard. So what other really good things did they do?
What else? I mean, we haven't really been like down.
Yeah, let's go down there downtown.
We have 1 minute
have one more
to
minute.
explore New York.
But like this part of
Is this supposed to be like, are we at South Street?
yeah, we're like near South Street, we're on the Lower East Side right now. This is actually pretty good. Like this part of the FDR is pretty spot on.
Oh yeah, that feels right.
Yeah, this feels really, really good, and I appreciate this. That is the Williamsburg.
Skytown. The
Down-
Williamsburg.
Yeah,
I live right over there.
we didn't get this right though. The color. I wish it's like, see, like these are the small details that I.
Like the Williamsburg is like famously big.
And like,
Or is that's not supposed to be Manhattan.
no, because the Manhattan Bridge is down there.
Yeah.
Well, I think they just left Williamsburg out entirely.
Oh, that's the
this-
Brooklyn Bridge.
The Brooklyn Bridge is down
That's
there.
like a mashup of the Manhattan and the Williamsburg Bridge. I didn't even realize that.
Which
That's
is
funny. There is the great Brooklyn Bridge as immortalized by
But they didn't
Zone,
even get
Hard
this
Crane.
right. No, that was the Williamsburg. They have the Brooklyn in there. Look at it. The Brooklyn's down there.
Oh,
So they
okay,
did all
yeah,
three
yeah,
bridges.
yeah.
They did
But
all
that was
three.
not the color of the winner, even
frustrating.
remotely.
But we
So
are.
that's our yeah. Do you have any?
thoughts?
Yeah.
Jeff?
I stand by my assertion that the Spider-Man PS4 simulation of New York is the greatest thus far. I think it's super fun to travel around, and I'm extremely impressed by it, generally speaking. I mean, everything has its issues, but at the end of the day, if you've never been to New York City and you want a little taste of the geography, that's the game to go to, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you entirely. But just again, like, because it's so good, what they got wrong makes me really sad.
Yeah.
And like next time, if they're for the eventual sequel, because there has to be at this point, don't compress Harlem. Give Harlem its space, and I would love to see that.
At least patch it.
Yeah, right.
Something.
Just patch it.
Come
Give me
on.
the Apollo at least.
All right. Thank you very much for listening to this rant. Really appreciate
Yes.
it. Thanks, Robert, for having us.
See y'all later.
See you.
Okay, so yeah, give it to this, and then go sit there.
All right. Hello. Game Center Live. Back
Hey.
once again.
Hi, Naomi.
Hi. I get to sit on, I think I used to sit on the right when Robert and I were doing this as a news segment. Now I'm over here on the left in like the host's chair or something like that.
Makes me uncomfortable.
Although I guess it's the right to the camera.
Hey,
All
chat.
right. So,
What's up?
yeah, this is the discourse. Talk about what's going on this week. This was a weird, slow week, we were just saying. I think everyone was waiting for
Death Stranding.
Death Stranding to drop.
Yeah.
And we're also, weirdly, I didn't even realize this until this week, we're getting to the end of the 2000s. 2010s, sorry.
So we're starting to see some lists.
Yeah, so lists are starting to appear. Yeah, big journalistic content opportunity to create the whatever of the last 10 years. So we're starting to see some of that stuff crop up. And there weren't too many huge controversies last week. But maybe, yeah, whatever we've got there in the links, pop it up and we'll start discoursing about it. Oh, okay, yeah. So this is Brendan Green, also known as Player Unknown.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
What's going on here, Naomi?
so
I did not read this. I did not encounter this.
There's
it's not part of my
a
discourse.
conference, the View conference,
Yeah.
recently, and he was interviewed on stage.
Why?
I guess about a bunch of things, but
About how to get owned by Fortnite?
yeah, how to like have your idea ripped off by a much better, more well-prepared company. And part of his not being well-prepared is that in this interview, the thing that was covered afterwards was that he was saying he only has one woman on the whole PUBG team, and he's upset about that, but he feels like his hands are tied. So this definitely was part of the discourse hot takes that people are upset about this week.
Yeah.
Two guys on stage being like, well, I just can't find all the women in games. But if the interview was a little bit about how, I guess, I don't know where he is in the Netherlands or somewhere.
Yeah, it's so hard to find women in
In the Netherlands. No, but he was blaming two things. One, that there are laws that say, well, if you are going to a recruiting agency, you can't tell them that you want women.
Okay.
Which, yeah, one thing like, well, if you were really trying to hire for critical positions, you don't do it through a recruiting agency, for one thing.
Yeah. Also, this is just an example of how difficult it is, how many unintended consequences there are for whenever you make explicit rules to try to accomplish nebulous goals. Sometimes they're counterproductive.
Or they're just used by the exact people who you are hoping to.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't even have to imagine that they're villains in the system.
Sure.
Everyone involved in the system could be operating in
just
good
be
faith,
sort of-
and it could still have unintended bad consequences.
Right, but nobody is operating in good faith in some sense, right? There are like, so here's the problem with meritocracy that people point out, right? That there are implicit biases that people are not even aware of. That we're all like little mice riding on the back of elephants, slumbering around. That's sort of how our unconscious minds are working.
Yep.
And that so if you tell someone like, no, just don't think about the
Yeah, of
applicant's
course.
race or gender at all, then like then they'll be like, okay, I just have to imagine the best possible
and you're
programmer
imagining
for
a dude.
PUBG.
You're imagining a dude, yeah, because that's what's in your programming, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And they're also, he's hiring a recruiting agency to be like, could you find me the best possible team for PUBG, employees for PUBG? And they're like, well, who plays PUBG? And he's like, well, it's 80 to 90% men.
Yeah.
So yeah, all sorts of unspoken things are entering into this
Look,
equation.
I haven't read this article because I'm busy making games. Support my Kickstarter. And I don't care what PlayerUnknown's opinions are about these topics.
Right.
But I will just say I'm happy to sign on with the assumption that he's an idiot. I don't know. Is he a smart guy? Is he? I don't know.
I think
Maybe
he
he's
invented
well-intentioned.
this genre in some ways.
Yeah,
right?
he's true. That's kudos to him for that. But I mean, what are you trying to accomplish, PlayerUnknown, with this statement? Like, yes, life is hard. It's hard to hire anybody under any circumstances because the problem with meritocracy is that people are incompetent. Everyone, men, women, people in general are incompetent, and then they're especially bad at their job. You know, this is just the reality of the
get
world,
worse at it. Yeah,
right?
sure.
I am not worried as an
It's like
overall
Peter
topic.
Principle or something?
I don't know.
No?
I am not, as an overall topic, I am not worried about the future of women game developers in our industry because I think this is the direction we're heading. It's a bumpy road, but women are going to be fine. Women who want to work in the game industry are going to. It's going to get better.
You're like the curve of history bends towards.
Yeah, I mean, I would be. You know, I think women are just. They're just people want to hire women in general. As a person who hires game developers, I want to hire women.
There are plenty of people who want to hire women.
Yeah, I want to hire men. I want to hire women.
It's
but
not clear whether PlayerUnknown is one of them or not.
Yeah, and I think that what you might find is the kind of games you're making might change. Who knows? Like when you change the mix of people in your studio, you also change the kind of underlying ethos. You change some of the culture of your studio.
Yeah, the creative focus of the game.
It's for the better. Like this is what a life in a dynamic planet where there are multiple genders is like, right? It's complicated and interesting and difficult.
But the flip side of that is if you have something that feels like a very traditional game. Like I'm sure Infinity Ward might have some trouble hiring women as well. I don't know.
Yeah, shut them down.
Yeah,
if Infinity Ward can't figure out how to make games using the talent that they can hire and putting together successful projects, then they go away.
Certain kinds of game studios are struggling with this, right? This is a big thing for Battlefield. They were trying to be like, oh, let's open this up a little bit more to women somehow in the content. And I think it does relate to hiring as well. I think the upshot is there's huge opportunities for any woman who actually wants to work on a military or zombie shooter.
It's true. It is true. I mean that I 100% agree. If you there's great opportunities for everyone. And it's also always going to be hard. It's always going to be a struggle, and so that's it. So let's jump to the next one.
Wait, here's the other part. His other thing that he blames is the school pipeline. It's like, schools are not graduating enough women. There just aren't enough women out there who are looking for jobs.
I'd like to tell you about a little thing called the Barlovento Scholarship for women in game design. If you are a young person who does not identify as a man and you want to go to join a community of people making games and learn and get a degree, then we are excited to welcome you.
I think it's mostly our alumni and current students watching this. So.
Yeah. So come back again, get it again.
Get another degree.
Yeah.
You can take some very similar classes.
Just loop it around,
right? At the MFA level.
All right. Next topic. Let's go. Oh yes.
Oh
good.
wow.
Finally.
Okay, 100 best games of the decade.
Finally.
So this is what we were talking about, right? This was a controversial list because, of course, it's always going to be controversial to be like, these are the 100 best games.
Look, there's nothing there's nothing controversial about this list. It's canon. Could you scroll down to like 70? Is that where it is?
Yeah, 70.
Embarrassingly low on this list is a game that you might all enjoy.
Oh, is it below?
It's between Metal Gear Solid 5.
So there's Witness at 69. Nice.
Go up and down a little bit until it's Metal Gear Solid. Oh, there we go.
Oh, Universal Paperclips.
Nestled.
Yeah, you're not quite as good as Doki Doki Literature Club.
but just a little bit better than Metal Gear Solid 5.
And a little bit better than The Witness.
Than Metal Gear Solid 5. So, which I think is appropriate. I mean, that's a good place. I'm really proud to be there.
Wait, let's keep going down a little bit more. See what else is ahead. Grand Theft Auto
Online. Fair enough. I mean, that's a fair call.
Doug Wilson with JS Joust.
Doug Wilson, you son of a gun! I am very upset by this. I mean, good for Doug, but wow, I got burned. I got owned by
if
Joust.
you think about it, it's.
I think it's
there's
a fair.
lot of significant cultural contributions on this list.
I
It's
love
true.
Joust. I actually think
Yeah.
I think Joust is a stone masterpiece, and I am proud to be
Right,
under it.
yeah.
Six
That-
levels under.
And then Jackbox Party Pack.
Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
good. Fair. This
Fair.
is a
I mean,
pretty
there's
good
a lot
list.
of things where you're like, yeah, fair that this is on here.
Can I s-
It's very diverse, actually. If like Frog Fractions is right next to Bayonetta 2.
Yeah. And I have gotten a little bit of this is not a game hate from this list.
really?
Yeah, there are people
They're like, Universal
who have-
Paperclips
Yeah,
is
it's a
not
little
a
bit
game.
weird. Universal Paperclips on there. It's kind of not really even a game, which I don't know. I mean, I'm in a very, very privileged position. I am have established. You know, I'm part of a larger institution and community.
For
I have
you,
lots of power, and but
If
from-
someone says that, it's like,
but even so, like even I think that even if I weren't, I would kind of love that. To me, there's something like there's something great about that weird hater energy, and and I say bring it on because
Well, it
it
was
just
sort of-
makes me excited.
I guess it was sort of different when it was like 6 or 7 years ago and Raph Koster was saying it or something like that.
Yeah, well,
But-
Raph knows not to say that.
Now he's
me?
he's learned.
I mean, I'm going to go on record as saying I think I could take Raph Koster in a
okay,
in a-
it's
in
all
a-
it's
in a
it's been
fight,
broadcast,
right?
Sure.
If he wants to step to me
Sure.
after some drinks at GDC and claim that Universal
I
Paperclips
really
is not
love
a game,
the things that got hate
I'll
on this
take
list.
him outside.
Flappy Bird is on here. That got a lot of hate for being on here. Kim
Flappy Bird
Kardashian-
deserves to be on this list.
Absolutely, it deserves to be on here.
Here's the thing
Maybe
about Flappy
4,
Bird.
yeah.
Can I just for a
It deserves
minute?
to be maybe higher.
Here's the thing about Flappy Bird that's so amazing. What Flappy Bird demonstrates is all of our preconceptions about what a good game is, what balance is, like what difficulty is, and how to think about difficulty. Flappy Bird just throws it out the window and says, "Oh look, here's a point in design space way over here." That you guys aren't even thinking about. Tuning is like Csikszentmihalyi style flow tuning to put it just incrementally. But it's like, no, how about this point over here? He's demonstrating, Dong Win, is that his name?
Yeah.
Is demonstrating how enormously large the design space of games are. Still, there's so much low-hanging fruit. Flappy Bird is a masterpiece.
Yeah, I agree.
It is also incredibly simple. It shows you that anyone can do a groundbreaking, history-making work with just a vision of a clever, interesting
it
idea.
demonstrates that there are a lot of people overthinking things
Yep.
in games in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Next topic.
All right. This is another. So this is the more sober, like just 10 games list from the AV Club. Should we skip over
Skip
this?
it. Skip
Okay,
it.
yeah, it's
Let's
like
get
number
to-
10,
let's-
Minecraft.
Let's
or
get to
something like that,
Heather's
yeah.
Metal Gear Solid.
Subscribe.
No, this is not. I don't know what is this.
This is predictions that were made by journalists and pundits 10 years ago.
Yeah, I didn't see this one. So what's up with this one?
So if you imagine people being interviewed in 2009 and being asked, what do the next 10 years hold for games? And then you imagine all the most predictable things that they could say. That's what this article has rounded up. It's
Ooh, sounds good.
It's people saying things like, well, clearly motion control is huge now with the Wii. It's just going to get even more so. We're going to motion control our refrigerators, and every game is going to be motion controlled. You're just going to go like this. It's going to be like Minority Report.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen in 10 years. And there's some other things like, graphics are going to be so incredibly lifelike, and so our conversation engines are going to be totally run by AIs. You're not going to have actors or writers anymore.
Yeah.
It's just going to be all AI generated, stuff like that.
So would I surprise you if I told you I have a take on this topic?
Yeah, please tell us your take.
Okay, I have a take on this topic. Predicting is very hard. It's very hard to predict the world. Predicting the outcome of a creative process is literally impossible because that is what creativity means. Creativity is the process that produces things that could not have been predicted. So this whole rhetorical move that we constantly make about predict, what are games going to be in 5 years? Or, look at this trend. We can show that through this trend, everything's going to be free to play and it's going to be dragging the whole. It's like, no, you cannot do that because the process of predicting what games are going to be is called game design.
Right.
That is the process. That's what we do as game designers.
Sure, yeah.
We're making that, and it literally cannot be predicted.
Well, all of the people who are trying to do these predictions, they're mostly making predictions about the environment in which creativity is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
They're like, the environment's going to have all of this stuff in it. So like right now, we could say like, oh, cloud computing, is that going to be really, really big 10 years from now?
Some people have to make bets on this, and I
They
think
do have to.
I think
They're betting millions and millions or billions of dollars.
I'm pro betting.
Okay,
Like,
yeah,
I think
right.
that
So they have to bet.
that's the place where predictions matter. It's less in kind of like this journalistic pundit
Yeah,
space.
it's put your money down.
Yeah, it's more like people, dropping millions of bucks on cloud computing and reverse lag, right? With this idea of
Right,
like
yeah, we
games
talked
that
about
are
that a
faster
couple
than your
weeks
input,
Yeah.
But I was talking to a student the other day, and they were actually, and I'm just an optimist. You know that about me. And the student was like, "Oh man, games, it's all going to be loot boxes and these kinds of like free-to-play mechanics, and it's going to drag it down." And I was like, "No, because that's where creativity, like, yes, the world has gravity in it. And gravity pulls in a certain direction, and it is predictable. Gravity is predictable.
Yep.
Creativity is not. And so, yes, loot boxes are compelling, powerful way to make money in a certain environment, but we are constantly spiking up. That's the ballet, right? Ballet has gravity and it has creativity, right? And that's what makes ballet beautiful. So yes, loot boxes is this. They will not be the dominant force that's going to just determine how the economy of games goes. It's not going to be this endless, inevitable, like race to the bottom, because creativity is always there to pull it in different directions.
Sure, it's not that different from someone looking at the meta of a competitive game and saying, oh, like every strategy is just Zerg Rush now.
Yeah.
This game is broken.
Yeah.
StarCraft, who will ever play StarCraft ever again?
There's a word for that.
It's all Zerg Rush.
It's called scrub talk.
Right.
That's how scrubs talk. Don't be a scrub. Don't be a scrub. Climb the mountain. And it's like, for example, Fortnite, right? Fortnite, no one saw that coming. And they didn't even see it coming. They're like, oh, well, why does Fortnite have construction in it? I don't know, they were copying Rust.
It's a wonderfully stupid reason.
They were copying Rust, and then they had zombies and forts, and then it weirdly evolved into this thing where you're doing real-time construction, which is a terrible idea in theory as a game. Like you're shooting, and then all of a sudden you're like doing this, and yet it just turns out that it works. Like that's the kind of force that you can't. That's the opposite of loot boxes in a way. It's like unpredictable.
It's a good way of putting it.
And it's earth changing. It's more important than loot boxes.
Sure. And like no business analyst or anybody actually investing money is ever going to be able to predict that thing. Right. So so that's, I think, is encouraging for everyone who sort of feels like this ominous gravity.
Yeah.
But I think we can still say like, well, there is this ominous gravity. There's a large gravitational object entering the solar system, and it's like the fact that all of the processing power is heating up smaller devices so much that we can't increase the processing power more. So now we have to like put that processing power into a computer center somewhere.
If you want to be a ballerina, you should understand gravity.
Right.
But that's the start of the problem, not the end of it.
No, it's the problem that you're facing, right? Yeah. It's like, oh, I need to chart a course between this whirlpool and this thing.
Yeah.
And so I should know kind of what's out there.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I should be like, well, I'm just going straight
That's
into that
just
thing.
down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
All right, next topic.
Death Stranding.
Is this Heather's review?
No, this is a roundup of different reviews.
Well, Heather's was good. Did you like Heather's?
I thought Heather's was quite good. Yeah, Heather Alexandra on Kotaku wrote this review.
Smart.
Good. You can even click on it right there.
Interesting, solid.
Yeah, this is actually, I think, a really interesting review because it's both just trying to describe it as a review, like saying, here's what you're going to get if you play this game. And then also Heather Alexandra is saying, like, I played this game at a difficult point in my life, and I was using it to fill this hole in my soul, which is actually clearly like part of the gameplay, kind of does that sort of thing.
It was personal, it was well-informed, it was articulate, and we talked last week about critical writing and Death Stranding, and are there critics out there, and I think this is a good example of it. I would like to shout out one other one, which I found about through Merit Kopas tweeted out, one by Aurora Brainsky-Roth on fanbyte.com called Platonic Solids. Hideo Kojima's erotic formalism.
Oh, okay.
And that one was super good. I really like that one. So definitely check that one out as well. very kind of contemporary, postmodern, Lacanian, phenomenological,
And yeah,
very smart, very
appropriate
intellectual.
to Kojima, right?
Yeah, like so. I think we're seeing like, oh, actually, the critical reception is kind of out there for
Right.
Kojima's
Well, this
work.
is a super like interesting moment for games criticism because Kojima, dropping Death Stranding is like tossing a giant ball of fish food into the pond.
Yeah.
And that different people are devouring in different ways.
Yeah.
Right. And you really start to see the interesting dividing lines emerge between people who are trying to review in this traditional style of like, well, let me tell you what you're getting in this consumer product. And a bunch of those reviews are like, oh, Hideo Kojima's going to make you do this boring stuff, trudging up and down a mountain, like for many hours on end. There's something weirdly compelling about it, but I don't know if you really want to do it, but maybe you do, right? And there, it's a little bit confounding. And then there are the, Heather Alexandra, kind of like much more experiential, like captivated by the beauty of it. I'm waiting for the kind of, I don't know, like the game designy one, the reviews, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to see a little bit of that cropping up, but even gleaning from this, it seems to me like the most interesting thing to me about Kojima's design is that you're playing in this world that's populated by objects that are created by other players. But it's not every object created by other players. Are you? Kind of you are. Kind of you are.
I love this. So I love gimmicks. I'm Mr. Gimmick.
Right.
And this sounds to me like a little bit like Journey, the Journey
Spore.
gimmick, very much like the No Man's Sky. Wasn't that going to have some of that in it?
Planets that have been found by
definitely
other people.
Spore. Like this was a hard gimmick in Spore that never really worked.
Here's
so
how,
is it going to work here?
Here's how I think it works. It's staged, right?
Yeah,
so
it's fake.
that it's fake. It is pulling actual things that people have built. I think semi-randomly, but you don't get all of them. You get like a tiny slice of them, right? Just like in any of these games.
Yeah.
But as you get to like the third or fourth level, which is where these things start to appear, only a few of them appear. And then as you get further, more of them appear. Yeah. So it's actually a kind of orchestrated, like gradual introduction.
Good. Maybe it'll be good.
I mean, that might be all that it really takes to keep it from being kind of as leaden feeling as Spore.
My son, James, who is a brilliant game designer, made a game that was all about this. It was called Mercury.
Right.
And it was like a little roguelike where there was also kind of a score chaser, and you played it in a community, like on a server, and whoever had the highest score every week got to construct a new item or weapon or class that then got introduced into the world.
And he had to program it.
And he had a little system for doing it. It was procedural. But so it was like community-based procedural generation. And he's actually bringing that back. He's going to do like Mercury Prime. He's going to like rebuild it and launch it again. So if you're interested in that idea, it's a great little exploration.
So a lot of the environmental hazards, this is like the real purpose that they serve, right? Because it's like, oh, there's a rainy area. Rainy areas are really dangerous in Death Stranding. So it just is an opportunity for somebody to be like, oh, I'm going to plunk down a bus shelter here.
Yeah. Sounds kind of cool. Are you going to play Death Stranding?
Probably 5 times. I have a small baby. It makes it hard to play Death Stranding.
Oh, it's the perfect way to play it.
I was going to try and do that. I was going to be
get
like,
that snugly and then,
put the baby on me and then play Death Stranding.
Please, if you live stream that, homepage of Twitch. I'm calling it now. Homepage of Twitch. Right, chat? Can you imagine? Naomi with her baby right here playing homepage of Twitch.
That, I was trying to find a baby carrier, but it turns out you can't put babies in translucent plastic cases.
What?
They suffocate. Yeah, it's terrible.
It's the nanny state.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, no SIDS. I'm sorry if you're watching at home, Lauren.
How many more of these do we have? Because we have 5 minutes.
Yeah, let's. OK Boomer is dividing generations.
Is that a mirror? What am I looking at? Am I just looking into the camera now?
Are you a boomer fan?
Oh, that's a photograph. Oh, I see. Okay.
This has nothing to do with games. In fact, this meme is already dead. It's been killed.
I would prefer not. Yeah, it's so dumb. Everything about it was instant. It was funny for 10 minutes. It was a good meme.
It definitely was.
It was a good meme for 10 minutes, and then all the takes on the takes on the takes.
Right. Well, then the funniest thing is people getting mad about it. Being like, "What do you mean, OK Boomer?" And then that joke is over, and then
it's not funny to me because I skip it. That is, I can't. I'm not going to read Ian Bogot's take on it. I'm not going to read anybody's take like, oh, there's what it says about all these different generations. But I will say this. Here's my boomer moment.
Okay.
I downloaded TikTok.
Wow.
And
you're gonna make some
here's the
TikToks?
thing. No, I'm not going to make TikToks. I want to take my turn at the fire hose. And
If
here's the
you
thing.
missed Vine, no.
Yeah, so first of all, it's strangely disappointing because if you go and look at TikTok collections on YouTube, they're all hilarious
Right.
and amazing.
That's what
And
you
if
should really do.
If you get the app itself, they're not as good, obviously. You get the full thing.
Well, it's
A
like
lot
1,000
of them,
darts flying out of dart.
yeah, and a lot of them, they're just like tons and tons of these. It is kind of still good in a way, but they're these little. They're less funny. They're less these kinds of meme, kinds of hilarious moments, and a lot of them are kind of more earnest in a way that's kind of cringy. But the one thing I wanted to mention to you that I saw was a person talking about how to generate essays, and it was so useful and interesting. So you go to these you go to Wikipedia. So this is for people. So this is a PSA for students at the Game Center. You want to know how to write an essay.
Look
You don't
it
want
up
to
on
actually
TikTok.
get smart and write and become a good game designer, and instead you just want to like get a good grade in your class. Then you go to Wikipedia. You copy some paragraphs about the topic. Then you paste it into a paraphrasing engine, right? Then you take the output of that and you paste it into one of these machines that tests for whether it's copied,
Right,
whatever
yeah,
the
yeah.
things that we're supposedly using,
which
the security tech,
which we're not.
which they have access to. So
Yeah.
you can just check on your end whether it'll get flagged as plagiarism.
Right.
And so there was a TikTok where they did these instructional TikToks for things like this.
Right.
And this was like there's a whole little kind of like self-help corner
It's
of the
fascinating
TikTok
because
universe.
you could only produce an essay that basically regurgitated a Wikipedia article, which I don't know, in any of our classes, I don't think those would do very well.
Yeah, they would probably do fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
They would get past
But
the
just
line.
don't, like, the whole point is the incentives are wrong, right? The whole point is
Yeah.
essays, like, the essays are just trying to trick people into reading and writing, right? That's the goal is that there's value in reading hard texts and wrapping your head around them and
Enough to be able to write.
and then
something.
learning
Yeah.
how to write a sentence and learning how to come up with something that is both interesting and true. Like, that's the hard part of writing an essay, right? It's everything else, like the language part, it just write clearly and simply. Stop using big words and trying to sound fancy. Just write clearly and simply and focus on the idea. Like, can you come up with something that is both original and true?
Okay,
yeah.
boomer.
Okay, boomer. What else? Do we have anything else?
Last one. 2019 was the year that capitalism became video games' greatest villain. This is pointing out a trend in sci-fi games, right? That Borderlands 3 and Outer Worlds both have these kind of capitalist dystopias, but they're really weirdly kind of skin deep. Like, Outer Worlds kind of billed itself as like sci-fi capitalism gone amok,
Right.
but it has nothing that even remotely resembles a capitalist
I mean,
system.
BioShock was this too.
Yeah, it
like
was this
BioShock
too,
was
right?
clearly like a kind of libertarian critique.
Right.
Like it
But
was a dystopia,
There's
right?
very
Yeah.
little capitalism going on in these places. They're more like weird feudal states run by kind of like mentally unhinged dictators. And that's
Right.
because that's way easier to critique. It's just like, oh, these people are just crushing you mercilessly like with a boot.
We need
yeah.
as a culture, as a civilization, we need critiques of capitalism that are deep, robust,
Right, yeah.
intelligent, honest, and workable. It cannot just be Marx, right? We cannot just coast
Sure. Well,
on
there's a
this
lot of ways.
Hegelian bullshit fantasy, thinking about like world forces that like inevitably do things. Like and I don't think any of these games have any interesting. They're not dipping into like interesting critiques. I think if you look at there's a guy that I'm fascinated by. His name is Glenn Weil, W-E-Y-L, and he's got this thing called Radical. I think it's called Radical Markets or something. He's got the weirdest, most interesting kind of like deep critiques that are kind of mathematical of capitalist systems and standard kind of current mainstream economics. That I think really inspirational and cool. I would love to see games kind of embrace some of these more
Yeah,
interesting.
It's a fascinating problem because the one approach that games have used well to do this is to put the player in the shoes of like ruthlessly expanding, constantly devouring corporation. I think like Factorio kind of works.
Yeah,
well
I mean,
that way.
Universal Paperclips is
Universal Paperclips is
often
like
read
that
as
as well.
as a critique of capitalism. I think justly.
Yeah.
But
so
I think
that we can do, right?
But the problem is, in general, like too much of it is kind of surface level. Like capitalism is just a shibboleth. It's just a thing I can reference to demonstrate that I'm
when people are
critically
mean,
thinking about the world. Yeah,
or enslaving others. But slavery is not exactly capitalism, right? It's much more insidious.
They're related.
The problem for games, I think, is that capitalist critiques and capitalist problems are actually so pervasive around us that they seem boring to us, right? It's like this person cannot get health care. They can't afford their insulin, and so they're dying of diabetes.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, well, that's just really depressing. That's not a game.
Yeah.
That's real life. Yeah, like that's why it's hard.
There are ways for games to participate in this conversation that are more than just a kind of layer of political critique applied on the thematic level. But it's like what we do as game designers is construct systems. We think about issues like fairness and joy and pleasure, and we think about structures and constraints and how they can lead to creativity and productivity. And so that's the kind of work that game design should be doing in this important historical moment.
Yeah, I agreed. And it's a tough job, and there are no shortcuts.
So yeah. I think we're done.
Yep, we're gonna wrap it up
Thank you,
there.
Naomi. That was awesome. Yeah.
Thanks once again.
And that
It's a pleasure.
is the discourse. See you, chat. Let us know. Please like and subscribe.
Chat, sorry. We're just switching over real quick. We're ending our broadcast at Game Center Live like we always do, where we want to feature some good, clean, fresh student content. So joining us today is Kevin Ray.
Hello.
Hello, Kevin. Your mic's on, right?
Is
Everything's
it?
good?
It's
have things on
Okay.
the screen? Okay,
Yep.
good. First, tell the chat a little bit about yourself and what's
I'm-
your interest in games.
Yeah, I'm a junior here at the Game Center, and mainly I ended up becoming a game designer because of my dad. He really got me into game design because he always wanted to make games, and so he kind of is living that vicariously through me. And
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and so I got really into making games when I was younger, just doing like mods and editing, like levels for different games and stuff like that. So that's how I got into game design. Yeah.
Cool. What kinds of classes are you taking, and what are you studying?
Currently, I'm taking this class called Major Studio, which is where we're just pretty much producing a bunch of different games with groups and making a bunch of different prototypes and trying out a bunch of different types of games that we want to try out. Yeah.
Cool. So, but the game we're going to be talking about today wasn't made for Major Studio, right?
No, this was not even made for any of my classes. It was actually something I made over the summer for a game jam.
So you made a game outside of school.
Yes.
It sounds like.
It's pretty crazy that we would actually do that.
You're just doing work
Not
for the love of it.
Yeah, not for assignments, just for fun.
Okay, let's switch over to the other feed. So tell us a little bit about this game. What's it called? And then Julie, if you want to link to it later.
This game is called Messier's Bridge, and pretty much the premise of the theme of the game jam was only one, and so I decided to make a game where you had to memorize a level within 1 second, and then traverse that level. And so it's a short little arcade game where you pretty much just go through increasingly different difficult levels, and you only have 1 second to memorize them.
Okay, I'm gonna be really bad at this.
Yeah, I'm
For a
really bad at
while.
it too. So
You're bad at your own game?
I am bad at my own
How'd
game.
you tune it then? How'd you balance it?
I did not, because it was a game jam, only 48 hours. So
Fair enough. All right, wait, what happened? Wait, what? Oh my god. Wait, I already died.
yeah, so you only get the 1 second to memorize the whole level and traverse it.
Okay. Oh, that one's easy.
Yeah, it's random generation, so sometimes you'll get a lot easier levels than other ones.
So tell us about the idea of this. Like, where'd you get the idea for it?
Well,
Oh no.
It was actually because of something I did in high school, where one of my teachers had this exercise at the end of class where we would sit and just stare at this painting for a little bit, and then he would take it away. We would wait for 10 minutes, and then he would ask us what was in the painting, pretty much, for very, very specific details. And so I really like the idea of training your memory. And so I wanted to do something like that, but in like a quick, fast-paced kind of manner. Because I tend to like faster-paced games, so that's what I tend to make as well. And so yeah, that's where I kind of got the idea from, and that was just my first thought, and I just went for it.
Tell us a little bit more about the game jam too. Like, how did that idea and memory of your teacher like collide with the game jam a little bit?
I don't know the specific reason as to why that came up for me, but it was just the first thought I had when coming into this game jam, and I just wanted to get started extremely quickly. Good job. And yeah,
they're getting so hard now. Some of them are really hard.
Yeah, and so you only have a minute total to clear as many levels, but every level, or if you complete each stage, then you will get more time, and so you can technically do it forever if you're good enough. But I have not met anyone good enough to do that. But I assume there are people with good enough memories to just instantly move across the entire level.
Are you better than me at this? Can you beat my high score?
Maybe.
Okay, show me how it's done, master.
All right, I will do my best. I'm going to embarrass myself. Well, that's easy. Oop, that was misclick.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my cursor keys are weird. Sorry.
Yes, they are quite.
So I notice the color scheme is very interesting. It reminds me of like Tron or like Neon or like Blacklight kind of stuff, right? Like, why'd you choose these colors and this kind of aesthetic?
I just was using these colors for testing just to be able to see better, but then I ended up really liking it how they contrasted, and then I decided to theme my game as like space travel almost. That's why it's called Messier's Bridge, is because I'm naming it after the astronomer. Astronomer. Yeah, that's a weird word. Yeah. Anyway, so I was naming it after him because he discovered a bunch of different galaxies, and a lot of them are named after him, like Messier's 93 or whatever.
Oh,
and so
okay.
That's why I called it the bridge, is because I was just thinking that this is the bridge between the different galaxies that would be traveled across. It's a very abstract kind of idea, but
it's about like space exploration, kind of this abstract kind of way, right?
In a very simple manner, because again, it was a game jam. I did not beat your high score.
Oh wait, what was my high score? I don't remember.
It was right here, 1905.
Oh, okay.
And then nice. I did much worse.
Oh, it's okay. Better luck next time. Well, no, I was challenging you to talk about your game.
I think the best I've ever done on this was like 2,700 or so. But people have definitely gotten much higher than me. One of the most fun things about like this project was it's when I really got engaged in the game dev community more, because after I actually submitted the game to the Game Jam, I spent like a lot of time in the Discord and just talking with other people online about their games and my game. I got a lot of feedback. People really liked the game, and that was like the best part of this process and playing and making this game.
Yeah, and I think that's where like a lot of conversation about the game industry and game education and like going to video game school can get like kind of like confused, I think, where like you, like I learned a lot of my game dev stuff in like Discords. Well, we didn't have Discord back then, on message boards and forums and stuff. And that's where I learned like a lot of my like know-how and stuff. And that's a great way to learn how to make games. And then at the same time, sometimes you need a little bit more structure or more people to like push you in like in person to do stuff, right? So, oh, that was a terrible score. So, I mean, like, I think it's really interesting that you're kind of taking advantage of like both approaches, right? Where you attend our program and you do like more formal thing where we're assigning you homework and giving you grades and stuff. But then you're also doing more informal, more casual communities like Game Maker's Toolkit, where you're engaging that community, right?
I think I really needed that push from the Game Center to get me started in game design, because when I first was like making mods and stuff, I had no direction and I would end up giving up before I even start, really. And so the Game Center gave me like a really good base, and now like after this game jam, that's where I felt like I was at a point where I could then go off and be parts of these communities and make games on my own, pretty much. And so I've been doing like a ton of game jams after this as well.
Oh, nice. More Game Maker's Toolkit stuff, or
no? Because he only does it once a year.
Oh, special occasion. Right?
Yeah. This game jam was huge. It was the biggest one on itch. There was 2,600 or something people on it, and I did pretty well. I got like around 230th.
Oh, it was ranked as well.
Yeah, it was
oh my
ranked,
goodness.
Yeah. And so that was really cool to see. I ended up like in the top 9%, which was really cool. And yeah, like I got like 30 comments on my itch page, and I have never had anyone ever visit my itch page before, so that was pretty cool as well.
Well, so you'll get a few more, hopefully, from our stream.
Yeah.
By the way, if you're in the chat and you have any questions to ask Kevin, just feel free to fire away in the chat, and we'll be happy to answer any. But it was really gratifying to see like people respond to your game, right?
I remember I was always super scared of going to Playtest Thursday because I didn't like people playing my games because I never thought they were that good. But this one really gave me more confidence to actually like put my game out there just to get feedback. And so I want to end up going to Playtest Thursday more and just interact with the community more, because it's a great community and people are very supportive and helpful.
Wow, maybe we should make all our students join the Game Maker's Toolkit Discord. Yeah, that's a really good point you make about Playtest Thursday too, because I think there are a lot of students who feel like they don't have enough to show, right?
Exactly.
Or they don't have like a big thing. But the truth is that anything you're making, you can get playtest feedback on, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you're thinking about making next? Or like what your next projects are?
So I just finished this huge project that was like a bunch of mini projects where I made 10 games in 10 weeks. And so pretty much it's just 10 different game jams I did. And so I have a ton of different prototypes to go off of. And in Major Studio, we're going to be picking like a project to go off of and like make a lot bigger. And so I'm probably going to pick one of those games that I ended up making and work with a team on one of those. The one that I was most excited for was like this weird RTS game where you control like a hero that then controls two like minions separately.
It's an RTS. Oh, so we control 3 people at once, kind of.
Kinda, yeah, exactly.
Is it going to be like a Dota MOBA kind of thing, or
no?
What do you mean by RTS?
It was because I played a lot of StarCraft, but I was a lot more of a fan of like the campaign mode.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I wanted to bring from that prototype. And that's kind of what I want to do I want to make like a story. I want to mix story and gameplay in like a large quantity, because I feel like most of my games are like extremely short.
Oh no.
Mainly because I have been doing these shorter projects and prototypes, and I tend to focus on either gameplay or story, never like combine them. I either have like no story at all, or it's literally just a text-based game where you just talk to people. So I want to combine them a bit more.
So this class will hopefully challenge you to like make something more like full, that's like trying to accommodate all these different dimensions and aspects, right?
We actually are turning in a more full project today as well. That I'm pretty proud of as well, because...
Am I keeping away from your homework? Do you have to like finish your homework?
No, I actually just finished like right before I came in here.
Okay, good. Time management. Very good. Good job.
Hey, you got a new high score.
Oh, nice. Oh, wow. I didn't even know that. Okay, wow. I'm just like getting in the zone, right?
Yeah, you're getting better.
What would be the story for this game if you had to, so this seems like a very gameplay focused prototype,
Yeah.
right? If you were to take this further, do more iterations of it, what do you think the story for Messier's Bridge would be?
I would probably make it so that you're this character that is actually traversing between like the different galaxies, and I would try to make it evoke the theme a little bit more because you can't really get the story from just blocks. And so I would try to do something more with that and make it a journey of the character.
So it wouldn't be a cube. We'd
No,
be
you
like,
wouldn't be a cube.
like an
Probably not.
astronaut or something.
Yeah, like maybe a space pirate going through the galaxy.
But I kind of like the abstraction, you know, like you see a
Yeah.
lot of sci-fi movies like Interstellar or like 2001 Space Odyssey, right? That are like playing with space, not just being like typical sci-fi space
That's
opera
true.
stuff, but it's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's like shapes and things, right?
Yeah, maybe space is more simplistic than we think.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Oh, I thought I was getting better. Uh-oh.
This was also like one of the first games I did sound design for.
Oh, I'm sorry, we don't have sound working on my laptop.
I've noticed.
Sorry.
The sound is where I felt like this game like really took off and felt a lot better because it reinforces everything that's happening in the game.
Tell us a little bit about the sound. Let us imagine what the sound design would have been.
Oh, I don't know how to describe.
Like what
sound.
was it? But what was like inspiring you a little bit, or what were the
Interstellar.
Interstellar?
Yeah, is kind of. I wanted to go for like the Blanc kind of like.
The Bwong, like
yeah,
Inception,
yeah,
like
like the
Bwong,
Inception
Bwong.
And
Okay.
so like everything is like very echoey because, I mean, I guess there wouldn't be an echo in space, but it's like a void and like there's a lot of space for sound to go out of. So I figured that would sound appropriate, and I think it came out like extremely well. So.
Nice. I'm sorry. Well, but if you're in the chat and you want to check out the sound design of this top 300 ranked out of like thousands.
2,600 something, yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Then please check out the link. We posted it in the chat and play Kevin's game. I guess my last question that I've been asking a bunch of students is, this is what you're working on for major studio and stuff. Oops. But with our BFA degree, we close out with a capstone project.
Yes.
So are you already thinking about what your big capstone project will be?
I have had quite a few ideas, but I haven't found one that I want to stick with just yet.
Do you want to pitch the chat a little bit on it, and then they can give you some feedback?
Sure. So one game I was thinking of was actually a little more story focused because I don't make too many story focused games, so I wanted to try that out. And so one idea I had was a game called What Is This a Game? And pretty much it would be a game where it focuses on like how we do our game studies courses, where we literally talk about what makes a game and the philosophical side of games and game design and how people interact with those games. But also, I might end up just going with something more gameplay focused because that's what I tend to be better at.
Okay, so you want to either explore the conceptual. Do you want to switch to the talking heads? So you want to explore like the conceptual bounds of what a game is?
Yeah, because I really like philosophy, and I think that would be really interesting to explore, especially in the game sphere, because I don't think there's too many games about like game philosophy, and so I think it would be a perfect place to merge the two.
What do you mean by game philosophy, though?
Like just
not game theory, not economics game theory, but like.
I guess some game theory about.
Or like what philosopher do you have in mind, or what thinker or theorist do you have in mind when you're thinking about this?
I haven't done much research.
Oh, right.
on it.
Okay, don't mean to grill you before
very-
your capstone starts.
Yeah, it's a very up in the air idea I had recently, so I don't have too much on it. But one of my favorite philosophers for game design is Kierkegaard. I think that's how you say his name. But
Sure.
Yeah, so I really like his talks about how the mechanics of the game is through pressing the buttons, because that's something I like to focus on as well when I make my games. Is pressing the buttons fun? because
You mean just like the sensation?
yes, the sensation of moving your hand around the controller and pressing the different buttons between them. Because I feel like a lot of games are a little too simplistic and just have like one button for everything kind of deal. And so I like being able to move my hand around a controller and do multiple actions to perform one thing in a game.
Okay, so you're gonna be making something that involves like the hands like dancing around the controller.
Yes, yeah.
Like
yeah,
like that,
exactly.
like that.
And maybe even have the player hold the controller.
And you have to hold the
in a
controller
different
like
way.
this, and
Yeah.
like that's something else. You could do this, right?
Yeah, and maybe even use like motion controls in it, because I know like there was a game, I forget what it was called, but you have to like shake the PS4 controller. They don't do that as much anymore, but I really like stuff like that and interaction.
Oh yeah,
like
because there's
that.
actually a motion sensor
There
in it,
is
right?
a motion
I was
sensor,
playing.
but they don't use it very much.
I was playing Dreams, and in the Media Molecule Dreams, you have to like do this a lot, and I'm like, oh wow, I've never done that with the controller.
That's also kind of why I want to get into making VR games as well. I haven't made any VR games because I don't have like a VR system or anything to like play test at home. But
well, I mean, do have
yeah,
that equipment off frame, but we do have a wonderful game library staffed with pretty much most of the VR state-of-the-art stuff. Game library, woohoo.
yeah. So yeah, I might want to go into making VR games as well because I really like how different the space is from traditional.
Cool, you should take our XR Studio class, and that will help you like ground your exploration of VR maybe.
Yeah, I was planning on taking that as well. So that should be good.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for talking with us, and
Thanks
thanks
for having me on.
so much for hanging out and showing us your game. And it's good to hear about all the stuff you're doing outside of school as well. We encourage all our students to please sometimes like investigate communities and cultures outside of school, because sometimes that will enrich your life, or you might find things that school can't necessarily provide you with. So it's good to hear you doing all that stuff.
Yeah, I recommend game jams for everyone because it's just a good experience of getting you into enjoying production, I think. Because a lot of people don't like the production side of games, and I think it's a lot of fun. And there's great community, so check it out.
Yeah, game jams. It's
Yeah.
like your schoolwork, but you don't get graded on it, really.
You don't get graded.
So you can just have more fun with it,
Yeah,
right?
you don't have to worry about. People get so stressed about game jams though because they're such short times, but it doesn't matter if you don't finish because it's just for fun. So
Yeah, it's a different kind of stress,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
All right, well, thanks so much for hanging out. And that's unfortunately the conclusion of our broadcast for today, for these past 2 hours. Thanks everyone in the chat for joining us. Thanks everyone for watching us play through Spider-Man and talk about how the ways in which it gets New York City really right, and then the ways in which it gets New York City really wrong. And thanks so much to Frank and Naomi also for their discourse segment where they were talking about the news and unpacking a bunch of complicated topics for us. And then maybe let's just cut to the credits now. I was your director and host, Robert Yang. Our news co-host is Naomi Clark. Our tech operator is Julia Delmato. Graphics are by Winnie Song. And our live captioning is by Mirabai Knight of Steno Night Cart Services. Thank you everyone for watching, and see you next week. Have a good one. Bye.